Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rogue Wave podcast, the frequency for all things pop culture and rogue matter. We talk comics, movies, TV, and pop culture every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook.com/WeAreRogueMatter, YouTube.com/RogueMatter, Twitch.tv/WeAreRogueMatter, and Twitter.com/Rogue_Matter. We take this finely crafted video and turn it into the greatest podcast known to man on all major podcasting apps, Spreaker, Stitcher, Apple, Spotify, you name it. We are out there. iHeartRadio as well, too. Basically, we're everywhere, and it's the greatest show on the planet, and you guys should always tune in because that's what we do. I'm your host, Michael Dolce, as always, joined by the Lord of the Radio himself, Mr. Hassan Godwin. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, everything's great.
That was like a trumpeted, not a Trump-ish opening, just a trumpeted. I wanted to use the word trumpeted, but I don't want to misconstrue. That was probably an exalted opening. Was that it? Do you agree or disagree that was an exalted opening?
You talking about yourself?
Yes.
Sure.
The matter of how many hands patting our backs for what a great job we do.
Yeah, it was magnificent. It was unbelievable.
You. That's all. Yeah. That's all I was looking for. That's all I was looking for. I'm always striving to make us feel as if we are the greatest thing known to man, because we are.
And by us, you mean you, mostly.
No. Look, this is the Rogue Wave show. This is not the Mike Dolce show. The Mike Dolce show, when that eventually airs, will be amazing. But until then, it's all Rogue Wave. We're a team here. See?
Okay. So when I don't feel magnificent, I should let you know then, right? The show's letting me down. That's what
never give that away. Never give that away. Always put on a happy face. Smile for the camera. Take those feelings of inadequacy and despair and self-loathing, and you stuff them down into a wall, and you just keep them there. I heard that's the way to do it. Nothing ever goes wrong when you do that.
No. Self-loathing. No. I said if the show is letting me down.
If the show is, you could tell. You could definitely say something. Yeah, that's fine.
That's okay. Fine. That's what I figured. All right.
That's totally cool.
Okay. We can still. Okay, I can work with that.
Good.
Let's progress forward now.
We've got a lot to progress forward to. I mean, we got a ton of stuff constantly hitting Rogue Matter. So this is a little segment we like to call Rogue Matter Presents, because it basically kind of gives you, all the stuff that's going on with Rogue Matter, which happens to be a lot. I don't know how they're paying for all this, to be honest with you, because all this stuff is free. But look, as soon as the check makes it into my bank account, that's it. There's no backseas at that point. So I can wonder aloud all I want and not worry about it. But new podcast up today, Badass Babes. They interview Ron G. He has made appearances. Well, first of all, Badass Babes is pretty cool because Brenda and her co-host Megan, they work out of a talent agency. It's Brenda's talent agency out in LA. So they got inside dirt on everything that's going on. But they got Ron G, made appearances in Lawrence's First Amendment, Comics Unleashed, Mulaney, Key and Peele, Chelsea Lately. He was a finalist in Last Comic Standing and Kevin Hart Presents. Go check it out. It's awesome. It's fans have been able to catch Ron G on the hit HBO television show Insecure. He's guest starred. He's one of those guys that are just like, you've seen everywhere, and you're going to see like a ton of him everywhere at some point. But they've got him on the show, episode 10. So go check it out. It's pretty awesome. Another podcast dropped today too, which is the Seila Fire Emergence Talkback podcast. Why would episode 3 of the Talkback podcast be on, you say? Because episode 3 of Seila Fire Emergence debuted on Rogue Matter right now. You can go to roguematter.com, check out Seila Fire Emergence. I got to tell you, out of all there's a bunch. We're truthfully, the reason we're excited about all these projects is because it's a small office. It's a number of us. We get to see these things before, we actually judge these things as to whether or not we want them to be part of Rogue Matter. Are they rogue? Are they not? Are they good? Are they bad? So once they cut the mustard, we're all excited about it. But that being said, everyone we've given this book to, Seila Fire Emergence, to read, has just been gushing about it. That includes the co-host of the Seila Fire podcast, which is Bevan from Nacelle Company. She's the Toys That Made Us. She's been on a number of things. We've got her as with the co-host, but she was really like, wow, this is really good. I want to see more. And I mean, that's like the best recommendation you can give, right? People like it when they read it, and you can read it for free. Right? Does that sum it up pretty good?
That sounds
it's
like a good deal.
UFOs, it's time travel, it's sci-fi, basically, I mean, everything you could look for. And this is chapter 3 right now. The U government has descended onto the tiny sea town of Southport, North Carolina, in the wake of unexplained sounds and an overwhelming number of unidentified bodies washing onto shore. One of these bodies, though, has survived her journey, and she is desperately trying to contain the horrific truth of what is happening. So, pivotal episode 3 out of 5, live now on Rogue Matter. And oh, by the way, you did the covers.
I did the covers. Yes. That's a good buy.
That was supposed to be that was supposed to be the runway to like, hey, talk about your awesome experience doing the covers, or just talk about your awesome covers, or just talk about you being awesome in general.
It was a pretty awesome process. I had to read the book in order to do the covers in the first place.
Very good.
And I was like, I don't want to read this book. Just tell me what to draw. And right. I started reading the book, and it was, I got caught, in the turn of events in the book, which I didn't expect to happen. So actually, by the time I talked to Renee again to let her know what I thought of the book, it wasn't a bunch of hemming and hawing, and I'm a very busy man, and I don't have time to read a 300-page book. I was actually like, no, this is really good. What do you need from me? So then we went through the process. Took a little bit of time to hammer out the finer details of the configuration of the cover, because it was like actually 5 covers in one, and they had to be broken up. And then it was a kind of a 3-month process, and we got it done, and came out pretty good. People seem happy with it, so I'm happy that everyone else is happy.
Renee, you mentioned, is Renee Geerlings, the managing editor of Rogue Matter as well too. So that is her. Yeah, that's awesome stuff. And creator James Massia, he's got a ton of stuff out. You can always check him out at We Are Dren on Twitter, and I think also Facebook, same thing, or at Dren Productions, I think, is also another one of his handles as well too. So. All right. I mean, that's pretty much, I mean, basically that's the podcast. It's been nice seeing you guys. Oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. We have a lot to talk about today. We've got Thor Love and Thunder. Does it live up to the trailer? We're going to give you our take on the movie itself. And again, whether or not it is truth or trash when it comes to what it promised in the trailer versus what it actually delivered in the film. We had another, again, like we're like 3 for 3 with celebrity guests lately. Chloe Traicos from Righteous Gemstones. We got to talk to her last week. She was fantastic. So we will have our interview with her a little bit later today. But first, want to talk a little bit about things that I'm tired of. You ready for this, Hassan? So I get my list. I get my RSS feed, right? And there's lots to talk about, right? Like The Boys just finished up. I was quasi satisfied with the way it ended. Not 100% satisfied with the way it ended. Maybe we'll talk about it a little next week, because we didn't prep Aaron to dive into that. Lot of San Diego Comic-Con news that pours into the RSS feed, so I'm like cool with that. Like all these big companies are going to do panels now, and we just found out the trailer for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, is going to be at San Diego Hall H. So which I think has to be one of the most anticipated trailers, just because of the question, like, what are they going to do without Black Panther, without actually recasting Black Panther? There's lots of theories, there's lots of speculation, there's lots of assumptions going on of what they'll do with it. Maybe lean on, his sister in the film. But anyway, tons of stuff comes in. But what comes into my my feed, but something that says Loki, Moon Knight, Hawkeye pick up multi-Emmy nominations. And my first thought is, that's awesome. I'm like, wow, okay, because we've been talking about this for a while. Is a Marvel, it's kind of like the Oscar conversation as well too. Is a comic book film going to get recognition in the Oscars? Is a comic book TV series going to get recognition in the Emmys? And I look at it, I go, oh, all right, Loki and Moon Knight, those were actually kind of critically talked about. Moon Knight, especially with Oscar Isaac. So I'm kind of thinking to myself, oh, maybe he's gonna break that barrier. And then I click open the article, and what happens? Stunt coordination, editing, music, like all the usual, Emmy nomination stuff. And I'm just thinking to myself, what TV out there is, I don't know, is so much better right now than what Marvel is putting out there. But it turns out, I guess, enough to where they don't actually get any of the major nominations. So, yeah,
they never do. I mean, going all the way back to 1978, for Star Wars for the Oscars, and they got like best sound and best special effects after all the work and all the money that will go into those movies. So I mean, you always get snubbed by the establishment, especially if you're popular. So, I mean, what's worse, see, like I always feel that you're focusing on the wrong thing. That's bad. What's bad is the headline.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm sick
of. It has nothing to do with the Academy, or the Emmys, or how they're, disseminating their awards. They can do whatever they want, but the headline comes along and says, "Oh, multi-award winning, show for, whatever," and you find out it's like 10 or 15 awards that you wouldn't notice unless someone told you that was someone's job.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But I guess they needed the sensation. They wanted you to click on it. You clicked on it. They win. So we lose.
Of course. No, they won. They got my, they got my Google ad hit, whatever whatever it was that helps them get advertising revenue. And look, I don't fault them for that, because these in order to present me with the kind of content I would like, they've got to, make money, and then they got to pay salaries. So I'm okay with it, but I do agree with you. I'm sick of these headlines in a way, getting my hopes up. They knew exactly which buttons to push. But this is what really bothered me, though. I'm looking at some of these nominations. Now, don't get me wrong. You've got Best Drama Series. You've got Ozark, which I think is phenomenal. So that's good. They got that one right. I started watching season 4 again now, by the way. So I should be done pretty soon with that.
I don't care.
I'm very excited. We're going to talk all about it when I eventually finish.
I do not care. I by the time you want to talk about it, I'll have forgotten what each and every season was about. So
do you know what actually got me watching it again? Because again, the problem is for me is after season 3, the cliffhanger. I mean, I'm so invested in it. I needed time away. It was like a major breakup. Like I needed time apart. It got me so much that I'm like, no, I need a little bit of time. Now I started the first 2 episodes. Previous start to this conversation, and I was like, you know what, I need time. I can't just jump right into this. But after watching Stranger Things and Umbrella Academy and The Boys, I got into a role of not a roll ROLE, but a roll, an ROLL, like an avalanche roll, like a snowball rolling down a hill.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Just want to let you know. I got in a role of like watching and being mentally ready for these series. So now I'm back into Ozark because there was the requisite amount of time. Plus, I accidentally spoiled a major plot twist apparently for myself because I was reading about potential Emmy nominations. And one
Spoiler
of the
alert.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not actually going to spoil it, but one of the cast of Ozark was mentioned, and I didn't realize why. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then I still read magazines. Shut the magazine. So I am not 100%. I will not be 100% spoiler free, but that's my own fault. I recognize that. I'm okay with that. I could have watched it previous, and I wouldn't have seen this. It was a picture of one of the characters and just mentioning them in the season, and I'm like, wait a minute, he's not in that season, unless he's in that season now. So it's one of those things.
Yeah.
Yes, and Aaron, our faithful producer, says magazines. Yes, I like paper magazines. I'm a big fan of paper magazines. I which is ironic because I started reading Umbrella Academy on my iPad because I'm, at that point I'm like, I'm not going to find Umbrella Academy anywhere. I might as well, But anyway, no, I like magazines. But anyway, so Ozark got picked up as a drama series, so that's cool. Severance. That's supposed to be pretty good. I don't know if you've watched that at all.
No,
do you get
I've
Apple
never
TV?
watched Severance. No,
No.
I do not have Apple TV, and I've never watched Severance. So,
Okay.
But I have heard a lot of good things about it.
You know what I like about Apple, and I have Apple, and I should watch it more, but there's just too much TV. They don't have a ton of content, but the content they have seems to all be great. Like it's one of those things where it's the quantity over quality. No, sorry, quality over quantity argument.
Yeah, quantity over quality is what Netflix has.
Correct. Right. Correct. That's exactly what Netflix is.
I am told by reputable sources or forces, both, that Jurassic Park is out this week on streaming.
Oh, okay.
For iTunes and whatever, for pay, so it's not streaming on a service. But if you didn't want to hustle out to the movie theater to see a dinosaur step on a human being, now's your chance. And it made about $10 million in the bank last weekend, so it's still making money. So it's weird that they're releasing it on a platform, but whatever. No rhyme or reason to these things anymore. I think
that's exactly what we're getting through. I think all this stuff with the streaming wars and all these different channels, like we're eventually getting to a point now where things kind of even out, people's behaviors and patterns and what they like. As much as we want to say like we're constantly changing and evolving, eventually people go back to things they enjoy, and there's a reason people enjoy it. Like so, a movie like Jurassic Park is great or Jurassic World, whatever, or Jurassic Kingdom, I guess is what it was. It's great in the theaters. Like it's a great theater movie. It's a great experience. Like, hey, let's go do something. It's hot outside. It's air conditioned in the theater. Let's go to the movies.
Theoretically,
what's that? Yeah, well, that's a movie. Not you and me necessarily, but the we of.
I'm saying theoretically. I actually at a movie 2 weeks ago, and the AC wasn't working. So
that's okay. So that is an actual you story then, not a general universal.
I've actually, because I was pissed about that, I actually noticed a bunch of people complaining about that at various theaters. So I think the heat wave kind of shorted out a lot of ACs in a lot of movie theaters. It was a weird phenomenon for that week in particular.
Yeah.
So not just me. Damn it.
Okay. All right. So, hey, look, comment in the comment field if you experienced air conditioning woes.
You'll get a couple of comments about that.
Possibly. Well, if someone would actually watch our show,
Never supposed to admit that.
Well, look, eventually.
Every time I say something like that, you tell me, "Oh, don't admit that."
No. I always took pride in the fact that we're a middling podcast. All right. Well, anyway, my point being though is there's a couple shows here and there that I think like, okay, Ozark and Severance is supposed to be. Succession is a very serious drama, but then you got things like Stranger Things made best drama series. Not to saying it's not deserving, but it's in that genre. Squid Game, I know Squid Game was kind of a phenomenon, but I wouldn't necessarily put Squid Game any.
Have you seen it?
I watched a few episodes, but I wouldn't. What my point being is, in terms of quality of it, I wouldn't put it any more or less deserving than say like a Loki or a Moon Knight. Do you know what I'm saying? That's all. That's my point. Getting back to my original point of, that clickbait headline that got my hopes up. Like I would have actually expected Loki to be on there. I feel like it had a shot.
Well, I mean, it was.
What?
They have been nominated. They just not nominated for the awards that you wanted them to be nominated for.
Sure. Exactly. That's exactly my point.
So you want drama. You want them to be nominated for best drama, best series, or like what are the awards you actually want them to pick up?
No, I would love to see Oscar Isaac for best actor. I would love to see, as much as we might complain about like Loki or things like that, like I think that's I thought it was of good enough quality that I would have liked to have seen that for best series. There's definitely things like that where I'm like
even your endorsement of it isn't like, that's not very glowing. It was the production was good enough. I'd like to see it for best series. Those two sentences are kind of antithetical. This was good enough. It should be called the best. So I don't know. That's
my point, though. I don't think it's any better or worse than say like a Squid Games or Stranger Things. and yet those got the nods, and I think those got the nods only because they're not comic book related. That's and they're not
Wow,
MC.
all
They're not
right.
Marvel
You
related.
buried your lead then. I didn't know that was where you were going with it. But okay. Usually the most popular thing doesn't get
Yeah.
heavy endorsements and heavy accolades from whatever establishments, either from the Academy or the Emmys,
Yeah.
or the Grammys. It doesn't kind of work like that. It's almost anti-political
Yeah.
in that fashion, or overly political, depending on how you want to look at it, because it's the politics of we are the ones who dole out these awards, and we are not swayed by the financial success or the runaway pop culture phenomenon. Gambit. It took Game of Thrones a couple of years before they just kind of wore them down, and they had to actually bend, because they were consistently great. They had to actually start doling out some real awards.
I guess so. One show that got nominated. I want to know: are you into this at all? Are you into the Euphoria craze?
No, I've never seen it.
I've seen a couple episodes of that. People go nuts. Like, it's one of the highest rated shows on HBO too. Like, it's like a huge deal. Like a huge deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I've just never seen it, and I'm not into the youth drug culture. So
Yeah,
I'm showing my age on that. I'm a little too old for that kind of looky-loo kind of stuff.
Yeah. There we go. We got Loki and Moon Knight and Hawkeye. Hawkeye. See, that was the only thing about that headline that got me. When Hawkeye picked up multiple Emmy noms, I'm like, that was my one thing where I'm like, I don't see that being. I thought maybe that was one of those like throw-ins, but no. Euphoria though. Yeah, Euphoria is like this. Look, I watched the first like 3 episodes of Euphoria because I don't know. It looked like. I think Zendaya usually picks really good projects. And so I was like, let me check this out. And I watched the first one. And I'm like, man, this just makes me sad. Like, it just made me sad to watch because it's all about like these drug-addled like teenagers in high school. And then it made me depressed because I was like, damn, I don't want my kids to grow up like this. And then it made me like sad again because it's just very sad. Did you ever see Requiem for a Dream with Marlon Wayans?
Theater.
You did? Oh, good Lord. Dear God. That talk about like not a good choice, like for a night out kind of movie, I feel like.
Well, I mean, we enjoyed it. We knew what we were getting into. It was an Aronofsky. So it was the last Aronofsky film that I actually liked.
Yeah.
And then I stopped liking his films altogether.
Yeah.
I saw it. Yeah, it's sad. Well, I mean, usually drug tales or tales of drug abuse, they don't tend to end, sunny.
Marlon Wayans, he's got his arm chopped off by the end of it. It's like terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we watched it before. Like, we were like,
reason why I didn't start watching Euphoria.
No, I know. I didn't realize it was going to be that bad, but I remember watching. It was like we were all ready to go to the bar. It was like a year after college. I was visiting college, which I did frequently because I lived so close. Visiting a bunch of friends who were still there, and we're like, yeah, we're like super excited. We're super psyched to go out. It's like a Friday night or whatever. It's like, what do you want to do? We got time to kill before the bar really gets packed. Let's watch a movie. Oh, I got Requiem for a Dream. I heard that's a good movie. Let's watch it. Oh man. By the time it was over, we're like, I don't want to go out. I don't want to partake in alcohol. We weren't druggies to begin with. Like, we wouldn't do anything drug related.
Well,
but even then,
technically alcohol is a drug. But I
know. That's what I'm saying. Alcohol is. I know alcohol, but I'm saying
it's a socially acceptable drug. Though.
We did not. We were never big into like. We weren't even big like weed smokers or anything like that. But again, even if we were, we were like, no, like never touch anything again.
Weed's a far cry from heroin.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, like, any kind of drug at that point, you're just like, I want no part of it at this point. I've seen it. I've seen enough. What a depressing time.
The only thing about say like Euphoria or some of the modern day ones is that the new drugs are so, the delivery systems for the new drugs are so benign. Like eye drops and like
yes,
like inhalers and all kinds of stuff. So you don't even have to. It's used to have to be kind of some kind of chemical.
Yeah, some sort
To
of
be able to
chemical.
take some of the,
Yeah.
some you used to have to be a chemist, or some kind of scientist to take drugs in the old days, and it's not like that anymore.
No,
So
technology's picked up. All right.
yeah.
What do you guys think? What do you think about the Emmy noms? What's your take on everything? Drop it in the comments feed. We will be reacting to it all week long, especially in the YouTube channel. On the Facebook feed, we especially go in and talk. So chat it up. Did Loki deserve to be up there as best, one of the best drama series? And did Oscar Isaac deserve a Best Actor nomination? Let us know what you think. Coming up next, trailer truth or trash. Did Thor Love and Thunder live up to the trailer in the end? We will discuss when we come back. Welcome back to the Rogue Wave podcast, talking comics, movies, TV, and pop culture with the Rogues who create it every Wednesday night. All right, big Marvel movie dropped. Thor: Love and Thunder hit theaters, and it cashed in, my man. It totally cashed in. It opened to one of its I guess the biggest opening for a Thor movie at 143 million over the weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty massive.
Yeah, almost up to about 500 million worldwide. So looking like it might be all right for them.
Looking like it's.
I don't know if it'll hit $1 billion, but they might top out at 8 to 900. So that's pretty good for the franchise.
I'm curious what it's going to do next week, like this upcoming weekend, like what the drop off rate.
Well, there might be a drop off, but there's not a lot of competition for
there's
it
not.
until maybe the middle of August.
Yeah.
So, I'm seeing people reviewing. Oh man, I don't even remember what the animated movie is coming out next. So it's. I don't think it's gonna. It's not gonna struggle with anything.
Right.
So it's all gonna be whatever it makes, whatever it does, or however much it falls off is all gonna be on the merits of its own. Of its own quality.
So one thing I found with Thor: Love and Thunder also mixed reviews. Some people loved it. Some people were very meh on it. And I fall in the latter category of the meh department. Comics Beat.
That's I couldn't remember it. Thank you, Aaron.
What's that?
That's the next big movie to open. Paws of Fury.
Oh, Paws of Fury.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna. I'm sure it's gonna do well. Hopefully, good for them. But I don't know if it's gonna compete with Thor: Love and Thunder for whatever reason.
Well, I'll let you know how the Minions are. I'm gonna see them with my kids on Friday. Very excited. The Minions are, big in my household. Big fans. Anything that both my kids can agree on, like us as parents, we're huge fans because then it makes it very easy.
Yes.
But. Thor: Love and Thunder got meh reviews from many websites. One of those websites is The Beat. Heidi McDonald runs. It's a great comic book news website. And I found this review, and I actually thought, you know what? It kind of sums up in a lot of different ways what I thought about the film. Overall, like I walked out of there. So I go with my dad. You know that. That's a recurring. So anybody who recurringly listens to the show knows I go and see these movies with my dad. So that's our thing we do now. We've been doing that for many, many years. So it's been a cool little tradition we've created. And my dad will just blurt out at the end of every film, like whether or not he liked it or not. And he just walked out. He's like, "Man, that wasn't very good." He just walked out. He's like, "You were laughing? I don't know what you were laughing at. I didn't get any of the jokes. I didn't think they were that funny." He's like, and it's funny because, I tend to kind of agree a lot of times with him. Now I might be not as blunt and not as like, I'll be a little more nuanced because I'm a little more like, well, I see this. I thought that was good. Or I thought this was bad. I thought this could have been better. That could have been, But overall, he'll just be like, nah, that was terrible, you know? So he just walked out. And I kind of have to agree with them. I feel like it was a tale of two movies. I feel like it was this, you know, trying to be Thor Ragnarok, funny, haha. That wasn't really that funny. I thought the screaming goats were kind of funny just because my wife is obsessed with the screaming goat meme. You know, but other than that, I don't know if there's really a lot of, you know, outright humor. I thought all the actors too just kind of walked through it. Like, I feel like they weren't even acting. They were just kind of like reading lines and then, you know, reading joke, haha, leave. You know, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it. Like, you know, there's the Jane Foster storyline. I mean, that's a heavy storyline. They're just like, I got cancer. Oh man, that sucks, Jane. Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna keep working now. And it's like, all right. I mean, I guess so. Like, I don't know. It just felt like they were just going through the motions, like that Buffy song in season 6 when they did the musical episode where she's just singing about going through the motions. She doesn't feel anything. She doesn't emote anything. And then meanwhile, you have probably one of the best and most intense villain portrayals of all time in Christian Bale, who is going through what is actually a very compelling storyline of the gods let me down. I should never have worshipped these things. They literally don't care about me. I have the power to enact my revenge. And boy, does he like emote and act. I mean, it's like two different movies completely just stuck together where I walked out of there being like, what a wasted performance by Christian Bale, because it was such an intense performance and such a good performance. And instead he was stuck with, you know, Russell Crowe as Zeus. And like, you know, don't get me wrong, could have been played for laughs, but I don't know. Two different movies. What did you think?
Everything that you said, I feel the opposite. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Hang on, before you go into anything.
Yeah.
We have not talked about this. We have not discussed Thor Love and Thunder. We haven't discussed any of this stuff. We just naturally always disagree. I love it. Go for it.
I mean, like, I don't have any really strong feelings for it. Like, this is one of the most amazing movies I've seen. The subject matter is really deep, and I was really moved by it. But I mean, it wasn't magnificent, but it was a perfectly serviceable movie, you know? And I don't know, maybe these days, maybe recently in my life, I'm just not critical of these things anymore. I saw Thor Ragnarok. I've seen the Guardians of the Galaxy. I've seen what Taika Waititi, you know, television shows and movies or whatever. I know what I was in for, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's going to be this kind of wild romp. It's going to be a little, you know, there's going to be some moving things. There's going to be a little bit of sadness to it. And mostly it's a comedy. So that's kind of what I went for. And that's what I got. Now, I was never like a huge Thor fan anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Until Thor Ragnarok, I didn't really like the first two at all. The first one done by what's his name? Oh man, I never remember his name. I'm having a bad
Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, Kenneth Branagh. Thank you, Aaron. What did we do for Aaron?
Stutter for multiple seconds.
Well, which is exactly what I was doing
on film, and then I eventually Google something, and you know.
Yeah, but I didn't, you know, I thought they were good, but I really, my thoughts for the Thor movies were like, these movies should be like, and I know they didn't have the budget for it, so it's fine, but these movies should be like Lord of the Rings. Like it's messing with Norse mythology, comic book mythology. Mm-hmm. It is just, the potential is like, it's through the roof. And they messed around in the first one. He was on Earth, and they had a couple of tropes, and they had a couple of cameos from the three from the comic book. Yeah. And then the next one, he was fighting the Dark Elves. I think he's going across the 9 realms, and he fights the Dark Elves. And you have Anthony Hopkins. You have everybody in that movie, and it's still not like a grand scale kind of movie. Yeah. I just did not enjoy it too much. So Thor Ragnarok comes around, and it's not like a Lord of the Rings movie. It's not epic like that, but it just pushed the boundaries of the genre. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a game changer for the genre. So I figured Thor Love and Thunder was probably going to be a little less than Ragnarok, because Ragnarok is kind of a Hail Mary for a faltering franchise in the MCU. And so Thor Ragnarok, he's actually adapting. I mean, excuse me, the Love and Thunder, he's actually adapting a storyline. You know, I didn't know if they were going to do the cancer storyline with Jane. I didn't know if they were just going to, like comic book movies. A lot of times they won't get into the meat and potatoes of anything. They'll just take the facade and spackle it on, and then not really get into the depth of whatever the storyline was. And I still see that a lot of people were disappointed by the adaptation of Gore the God Butcher and the Mighty Thor storyline. So, I mean, your mileage varies on it. But I watched it and I enjoyed it. Kind of, I'm not utterly appalled by your reaction to it. It's not a unique reaction. It's totally fair if it didn't do anything for you. But I just, I don't know what I go to movies for. It's not really to be moved or be swayed in some like amazing way. I think those days for me are over. Like of going to a movie and like, oh my God, the game has totally changed. I've never seen such a film before. I don't think that's happened to me since like The Matrix. So, either I enjoyed it and it stayed consistent all the way to the end, or it didn't.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, it could have been better. I think this was not good because the movie faltered. I didn't think this movie faltered, so it was fine with me. But like, I know I have changed because I wasn't really even critical with Obi-Wan. And I saw that Obi-Wan had trouble, had its own problems. But I was like, it's fine. Like it's okay. Now, something like Star Wars, which is very near and dear to me, one would think I'd be overly critical about it. But I was just like, look pretty good.
I agree with you, actually, big time, though. Because you watch something, to me, like Umbrella Academy, and then you put it up against something like Obi-Wan, and you're like, yeah, no, they're in two different divisions. They're in two different leagues right now.
You can't compare them, really. I mean, there's different genres, different networks, different everything. Yeah. I mean, look, the one you could definitely enjoy more than the other, absolutely. But you can't really compare the two. You can't really even compare
Here's what I would say, and this is why I think you can, at least from how I judge something. I judge something by my level of enthusiasm, both what I feel as I'm watching it, the intensity, the emotions that I feel while I'm watching something, and then what I walk away from and how I feel afterwards. And Umbrella Academy got me so excited and interested in, now I'm like, I need to read the comic, which, by the way, I breezed through the first trade paperback, was excellent as well too. Different than the show, but a lot
Very
from the show is there.
Yeah.
You had said that, and it is. But again, it gets me like, wow, I need to see more. Like, I want to see more. Thor Ragnarok, just getting back to the Thor movie a second, I enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. People rank. I saw a ranking of Marvel movies, and they put like Thor Ragnarok like the third best out of all of them. And I don't agree with that. I thought it was a really fun ride, but I don't think there was much to it after that first watch. Maybe it'll be different if I watch it again. Maybe I will sit back. Maybe it'll be like Anchorman. It'll be one of those movies I just watch repeatedly and love and love and love. But I walked away from Thor Ragnarok, though, feeling like, wow, you know what? It was a totally different tone. Chris Hemsworth was really a lot of fun, but I felt as if it was a complete movie. It wasn't a movie competing with itself over what it should be and what it shouldn't be. All the performances kind of jived. It just was it all seemed to fit together. So I give Thor Ragnarok credit for being that. Walking out of this film, I'm not angry at them for making it. I'm not upset. I think that's a prerequisite. I think when you get into internet debates, people are always like, whoa, why are people getting so upset about it? It's like, because that's what the internet is made for. Like, that's what an internet debate is for, to get angry at things for no reason and to throw shit on whoop, beep, bing.
That's another thing I have to tell. I've stayed away from, just the chatter about,
right.
These things. So I'm kind of not affected by, I don't know what the general consensus of Thor is.
It is very mixed, actually, though.
Yeah,
so
that's
so far,
I
at least
understand it. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's my point. So I'm just saying, I'm not looking at this from a point of view being like, oh, I can't believe they made this movie, or I can't believe I wasted money on this movie. Like, there was enough in it to, yes, keep me entertained, but overall, I'm walking out of there going, no, it's not as good as what has come before. It is not, you know, it saddened me to watch the actors, everyone except Christian Bale, I feel, even Natalie Portman, it disappointed me to watch them, in my opinion, not, I don't know, just kind of go through the motions, and they weren't really acting. They were just kind of there. I mean, they were just, it was just a disappointing performance. You know, like when somebody turns something in like for a deadline and you know it's not their best work. What's that?
As far as you're concerned, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's why I'm giving my opinion.
Well,
when someone turns in like a piece of work and you're like, you kind of phoned this one in. That's how I felt, you know, because compared to things they've done before, I'm like, wow, that's, you know, Chris Hemsworth has been better in all three Thors, even Dark World. You know, he's actually trying in those movies. I feel like he's not trying. I feel like Natalie Portman is a fantastic actress, and you know, she's just kind of walking. Tessa Thompson seems bored in the film. I know her character was technically bored, but I mean, even in those parts that she should love, I'm just like, you know, it just, again, it was a paint by numbers walk through, you know, go through the motions for me. And that's the part, again, where I walk away going like, man, that's just really disappointing.
I understand.
All right.
I guess that makes sense.
Here's the big question, though. Did the movie live up to the trailer?
Obviously
Aaron,
not.
Please roll the Thor Love and Thunder official trailer. You got Korg. He's narrating. We got Crim's head. Can I talk about the music too? Like, how come he only chose Guns N' Roses, and he only chose like the 4 most popular Guns N' Roses songs too? By the way,
I don't know, because Led Zeppelin worked last time.
I guess so.
I mean, I don't know.
Like, he just, I don't know. It was
Did
like
that
an all
bug you? Do you not love Guns
N'
Roses?
Look, I'm a big fan of Guns N' Roses, but okay. I also felt like it was like, of all the Guns N' Roses songs, like it was a lot of Guns N' Roses. Like, at least the last time it just had one Led Zeppelin song, Immigrant Song. You know what I mean? Like, this one
played it twice though.
That's okay. This one they played all 4 of like Guns N' Roses like big hits.
Okay. All right. You were a fan of Guns N' Roses, but you think they overdid it in this movie.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. You know, so here's the cheeky, you know, Chris Hemsworth. This is going to be funny. This is Ragnarok Part 2. Okay. But here comes this big existential threat. He looks like, it's so funny too, because he goes black and white in the Shadow Realm too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, really two different movies, I feel like. All right, this July, they got the goats. Okay. We don't know that they're screaming yet. That's something to find out later. Yep, there's some awkwardness. I mean, this is going to be really funny. I think when all is said and done, I think this is going to be a trailer truth. I think they're going to give us exactly what we saw in the trailer.
I like I said, you know, I think it gave you exactly what it promised to give you. That's why I don't understand what everyone was so confused about. There's nothing but jokes in the trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, starting from when he takes his robe off and throws it in the face of the priest, you know, there's not one serious moment in it other than Christian Bale, you know?
I think that's the element.
It ends on this. I mean, what are you going to do? It ends on that. I think,
you know, also what the movie suffered from is all the best parts are in the trailer, right?
I would disagree with that, but I understand what you're saying. I don't agree.
I think some of the best parts were all in the trailer, and I didn't feel like there was many parts left over that were very good. How's that? Did I?
Well, then it's trash. Then you think trash.
I think if you ask the question of did Thor and Love and Thunder live up to the trailer, then I just watched that trailer though. As we just watched, we did a horrible job narrating this time around. We're much better at it in previous.
I leave that up to you because you like to brazen through the whole thing, and then you got caught on a tangent about Guns N' Roses, and that's why. It's
very true. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. I did. It's I accept blame when appropriate. That one was Aaron's fault. No, so I'm just kidding. See, that's called deflecting.
Oh, the joke's
She's not even watching
here.
Us anymore.
You're right. Maybe this is a comedy.
She's not even watching us anymore. See, that's the best part. Oh, see, she just came in because we kept talking about her until she eventually said, "Oh crap,
no,
they're talking about me."
Don't we? I was not talking about her.
You weren't stopping me.
You always we, and it's not me. I'm
We're
not
a team,
partner in your crime.
Hassan, we're a team. We're a team together.
Right.
We rise together. We fall together.
Oh, all right.
We
I
fall
got that
together.
I got that on recording. I got your word on that one.
This is tough. I gotta agree with you. Actually, I think she is one of 8, maybe 7 people watching. It's very possible. Here's the thing. I want to say trash, yes, because and Christian Bale is the element that is trash, and he is the best part of the film. He's just in the wrong film. So I'm gonna go trash when all is said and done. It did not live up to the trailer. The trailer promised.
You gotta go trash to keep up with your narrative, even though while you were watching it, you were like, "No, this is actually pretty accurate to what the movie actually gave me."
Well, again, I go by what did I feel when I left? What did I feel when I left the theater? Why did I feel so empty?
That's not how truth or trash works.
No. I'm not saying that's how truth or trash works. My point being is I'm watching this trailer going, yeah, they kind of gave us everything that they promised they would give in the trailer. So then why did I enjoy this trailer and not the movie? Because they didn't.
I don't know. Ironically, I didn't like the trailer
when
it first came out. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
So, I was surprised I liked the movie way more than the trailer. Huh?
Unrehearsed. What? No, I just like it because I'm like, I didn't like the movie. You're like, I like the movie. I love the trailer. I didn't like the trailer.
I mean, if we talked more, you'd know exactly where I feel about most of these things.
No, that's okay. That's good. This is good. Yeah, it's good for the show. Remember, disagreements are good for the show.
I
just wanted to let the audience know that it's not pre-staged. We actually did not.
Yeah, the 3 guys watching now know that we don't stage things, and I don't think they were fooled into thinking that this was rehearsed anyway. So don't worry.
Either that or we deserve the Emmy noms. So this is what I would say though. I wanted to know why I walked out of that theater not feeling as excited as I did for the trailer, and I almost have to give it trash because
you're altering the game, but okay, if you want. Trailer truth or trash is not how you're supposed to feel about the film after you walk out of the film. Did the trailer give you what it seemed to promise? Did the film give you what the trailer seemed to promise?
It did not.
It did not. In what way? It gave you all jokes and goofiness,
but that was only half the movie, and the other half was a serious or trying to be serious drama.
But it showed you that. It showed you gore the god, there were no jokes with gore.
It didn't give us the what Christian Bale was going to actually bring to the table.
This is
for me.
Not how the game was played before. That's not how the trailer truth or trash. So you've changed it now. So all right,
I didn't change it. You can truth or trash it for whatever reason you think you should. Are you truthing it or trashing it?
I'm just going by the rules that you laid down for it as to whether or not the film gave you what the trailer promised. That's all. That was the only thing. We're judging the trailer, not the movie.
Yeah. Well, I'm judging the movie based on the trailer.
You can't. We're not reviewing the movie. We're reviewing whether or not the trailer gave us look
at the caption below. Did Thor Love and Thunder live up to the trailer? Did the movie live up to the trailer? Okay. That's right there. It's in black and white and orange.
Like I said, it's a rule change.
No, this is it. This is what we
review movies. So basically, we were reviewing trailers and finding out if the trailers the movies gave what the trailers promised. That's a review of the trailer, not the film. Not the film.
No, but now, see, I told you. Did Thor Love and Thunder live up to the trailer?
Which is what I said. It's a rule change.
Okay.
I did not say that you...
Even the last 2 ones we just did?
Huh?
We just did 2 of these exactly like this.
No, we did Top Gun. And it was like, did Top Gun give us what was promised? And we were like, it's got jets in it, and things get blown up. So yeah.
The movie delivered. The movie delivered exactly.
It wasn't based on whether we enjoyed the movie or not, or whether the movie delivered. It was based on whether the trailer gave us. Whether the trailer
even that, I'm saying that trailer did not. I'm saying that trailer did not, because that the intensity of Christian Bale was not seen in that trailer at all. That trailer was 100% lighthearted. and the movie was 50-50. So I'm saying trash.
Okay.
Which one are you going with? Are you going truth or trash?
I abstain.
You can't abstain. You got to pick one.
I can abstain. We can change the rules. I can abstain. I abstain.
I'll accept your logic. Hassan truthed it. I just changed the rules. I get to pick for you if you don't pick.
If you say so, dude.
What did you guys think? What did you think of Thor Love and Thunder? Did it live up to the trailer? Did it deserve all the money it's making? Leave some comments in the comment field. We will comment throughout the week. When we come back, we've got Rogue Spotlight Chloe Traicos from the Righteous Gemstones coming up next. Welcome back to the Rogue Wav podcast. Thrilled to welcome Chloe Traicos from the Righteous Gemstones, and she has a new movie out called Introducing Jodea as well. Chloe, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
And did I butcher your last name, or did I get it exactly?
Not at all. No. You said it perfectly.
2 for 2, Hassan. 2 weeks in a row. I didn't butcher the guest's name, so that's like we hold up a sign.
That's the record.
Right, we have like one of those signs, like this many days without an accident. Like we've had this many shows now without wrecking the guest, butchering the guest's name. So that's a personal pride moment that I just had there. So Chloe, tell us everything you know about season 3. No, I'm just kidding. I know you can't talk about it. Talk to us about being on
start
the
with
Righteous.
the ending.
Yeah,
start with the ending and work backwards.
Your character, you play Walton Goggins' wife on it, Gloria Freeman.
That's right.
And we were talking a little bit off air, and it's funny because it's a character that doesn't say anything. Yet
That's right.
You emote. There's so much in what you do. So, what's the challenge of that? And then how do you find your moments there?
Well, season 1, it wasn't hard because season 1, I was pretty much just, the happy to be his wife, adoring him. Things were good in our marriage.
Yeah.
And so not talking wasn't a problem. But in season 2, when we shot our scene, that was much more hard because, he was, he's yelling at me and I kept wanting to retaliate. And they said, no, you can't retaliate because that's the whole thing. Baby Billy is meant to be the overbearing husband.
Yes.
And I had to emote with my eyes, which was very challenging. But I think when watching the scene, I think it does actually work better.
Yes.
Because it kind of gives the impression of what their life is, that he's this overbearing dad who's really disinterested in his kid, blames her for all of the fact the kid can't speak and all of that. And she just is at the point where she now hates him so much she doesn't want to speak to him. So I think it works. Yeah,
and that's Walton's character too. I mean, he fills the air, right? I mean, he fills the room.
Oh yeah.
So
he's incredible.
And it was funny too because watching season 1, you think, okay, you're almost like scenery in that because you're with him there. But then season 2, you really do get to know. It's like, okay, no. There was like a method to this, and it was one of those like payoffs. I feel like when I was watching it, where I was like, oh, okay. And you painted the picture exquisitely because it really you can tell why he's been divorced 3 times prior to even just marrying you in this and that's 1989.
Yes.
But then going forward, and his character is once again kind of, I know he's with someone new now, but it's you can almost feel
makes the same mistakes.
Yeah, you can really feel that. But what was it like being on set and take us through getting the gig to begin with?
Well, I tell people I think I got the gig because I lied in my audition. They asked me, if you remember the birthday party scene in season 1, Baby Billy's driving a lawnmower. I come in on the back. Initially, it was going to be a tractor, and it was meant to be me driving. So at the audition, which I filmed before, we had to answer the questions. give your name, your height, which agency you're with, and can you drive a tractor? So of course I said I could, because I'm an actor and we all do that. And I just gave the story that I grew up in Africa and my uncle had a farm and I drove his tractor, which of course I hadn't. I think I rode in his tractor once. But so of course I tell him this, and then I sent the audition in on the Sunday, and on the Tuesday I get the news I've got the part. So I'm quickly on YouTube just looking how to drive a tractor. I mean, this is going to be a challenge given I can barely drive a car. So I thought, if I just worked out the story. I was just going to say, look, in Zimbabwe, we had different tractors to these. But anyway, so thank God on the day of shooting, they changed it. So I was like, okay, all good. I don't have to worry.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So yeah.
And did you, I guess, again, kind of playing the flashback scenes, did you know you were coming back for season 2 or that was?
Oh, I had, and I don't think, I only found out after. I mean, I wasn't supposed to be. They were due to shoot season 2 just before lockdown, and I didn't get called, and I knew I hadn't been called because I'm in touch with some of the other actors who had. So I thought, okay, well, and then apparently I only found this out the other day. Danny McBride rewrote season 2 during lockdown.
Wow.
And then I got the call that I was wanted, and I was like, yes. So so I had no idea. I didn't expect to be called back because I figure it was a flashback scene, and so it was fantastic when I was.
What's it like being on set? I mean, it's a really impressive cast.
It is. Oh, and they're amazing. They're also lovely, so welcoming. They really make you feel at home. My first day on set, John Goodman came up to me and introduced himself, and just really nice, courteous people, and just a lot of fun to be with. And it was fantastic. And what I liked was like certain things that they do come up and ask me my ideas about things, and yeah, it was fantastic.
So I got to imagine being on set with someone like Danny McBride and Adam Devine, and you have all these from what I've read, high energy comedic people. Is there any set stories that you can think of, or are they different behind off camera than they are on camera?
Well, I haven't been in any scenes acting with Adam Devine or Danny, but yeah. Danny directed me, so it's and he's wonderful as a director. He's just very courteous and very understanding, and he was so good with Jeremy, who plays young Harmon, and he's wonderful. Nothing like his character.
You have a movie out. It's Introducing Jodea. Tell us about it. Give us the elevator pitch, and then where you came up with it and everything.
Sure. So it's a movie about a very untalented, really bad actress who I play, who one day a world famous movie director drives into the back of her car, and he says, and she says to him, look, instead of paying me for the damage, why don't you put me in your next movie? So she auditions and she's terrible. And then his agent makes a bet with him. He's like, I bet you couldn't get a performance out of that girl. And he says, you're on. So it's like a romance comedy about, and it's, a lot of jabs at Hollywood about the kind of thing that they expect there. And, and it's basically, it's a feel-good movie. It's, just a romantic comedy, feel good, just something nice to relax and watch.
And did you wrote it as well?
I wrote it as well, yes. What
do you prefer, acting or writing?
I love both equally. They both are a huge part of who I am. So I act and I write out of love. I produce when I have to, but acting and writing are my main loves.
How did you get started in the business?
It was just, there never was any another option for me. I knew I wanted to be an actor from when I was old enough to work out that the people you were watching in the movie were actually acting when I was about 4 or 5. So it was like, there was never another option for me. So I, literally from when I left school, I just got started. I started up my own theater company in Australia and started off by doing plays, and then started making films. And that was, and it was a big part of it was also, the Australian film industry is very small and there are very few roles for women. And so that was why I started writing my own stuff. So, that was basically, that was where I started doing independence in Australia. And then I came over here and got the GEMSTONES gig and just, did the, I've written and I've made 2 of my own movies over here. So yeah, that's just kind of like it's just what I've always done.
Yeah. What's your dream role?
I get asked that. I love strong female roles. I think every female actor does. I think something like a woman who made a difference, like something like the kind of Erin Brockovich type of role. That's I think that's a role I would love to play.
So we do pop culture. We talk comics, movies, and TV as well. And so Marvel and Star Wars are the big. We cover that like crazy. Any interest in jumping into one of those big franchises?
Oh, for sure. I would absolutely love that. Yep. It's I mean, look, my husband's a Marvel addict. He got me into it. I was never into those kind of movies before. But yeah, no, I absolutely would. I would love to be in one of those.
No, that's we're trying to get Hassan into one of them as well too. I think that would be he would. He'd be bystander number 3.
I'm too sedentary. I'm good where I am. Everything's fine.
You're good as the Lord of the Radio. That's
yes.
You're good with the radio. Then the radio moved into YouTube, so now you're the Lord of the live stream now. So.
I know the gig expands on its own, so I don't really need to build a franchise.
What kind of genre? You did a romantic comedy. Righteous Gemstones is obviously comedy as well too. Is there a particular genre that appeals to you that you might not have done before, or do you draw to the comedies?
No, I anything that inspires me. I mean, I have 2 movies in the works at the moment, which are, one is a action thriller, one is a courtroom drama, and then the movie I did before Introducing Jodea was a murder story, a thriller. Okay. So more of a psychological thriller, I'd say. So anything that inspires me, it's like, I mean, Introducing Jodea was kind of like me using my own experiences in Hollywood in a comic light. I just kind of wanted to put it all together and just make a joke about the things that actors have to endure in the business.
Yeah. What's do you have a go-to story, like a go-to audition story? Anything,
a go-to audition story.
Like anything like you said in the business that's safe to say.
Don't get yourself fired.
Don't get yourself fired. That's rule number 1 on the show. Don't get fired. But so I'll give you an example. I have a friend of mine. He's a director out in LA, and he was trying to get a particular movie made. And he got it all the way up to the very last, chain up at Sony to get it produced. And then they were like, nah, it just, at that moment, they wanted him to rewrite it so that the main bad guy, instead of being like an alien, was a giant clam. And he just basically is like, I can't do that. He wrote it, and he's like, he got up there and he's like, I don't know how I'm going to make this work. And eventually they're like, well, too bad, and he ended up not getting it made. So he always loves to tell the giant clam story as like a good representation of Hollywood.
Yeah, well, I have a few horrible stories like that. The thing which puzzles me now a lot about Hollywood is they're very, now I hear New Yorkers are different, but they won't tell you if they don't like your script. Yeah. They'll say, we love it, it's just not what we want right now. So of course, people like me, I mean, I'll come back in 6 months. Are you in the mood for my script now? I mean, literally with someone like me, it virtually takes a restraining order and someone saying, we hate you, get the hell out of here, for me to go away. So, but I've had horrible stories. I mean, not so much auditions, but when I was trying to get Introducing Jodea made, I contacted a few big producers and I got in touch with one. I won't mention his name, but because he is well known. And he said, oh, come in for a meeting. So I'm absolutely thrilled. Drive across town to go there, make sure I'm there on time. In fact, I'm there early. Get there, and he comes into the room and he goes, "Who are you again?"
Yeah,
I'm Chloe Traicos. And he goes, "Oh, what was your script?" Introducing Jodea. What was that about? I told him. Oh no, that's not for us. And I was just like, why the hell did you call me in? You saw the synopsis. You saw what it was about. Why? I mean, is this some kind of sick game?
Yeah.
And, I mean, honestly, I was so, I wanted to say that to him. And then that happened to me again with another producer. I sent him the script and I thought, okay, the first guy was just a dick. You can beat me if you need to.
No, you're good.
That won't happen again. And I go again, and it's the same thing. these people weren't as bad as him. They knew what they said, oh yeah, it's not for us. What else have you got? And I'm like, why call me in? And then the third time it happened, I was going to bring in one of our investors because I actually called them up before. I said, before I come into this meeting, I want to make sure you're interested in my film because I'm bringing one of the investors with me. And they said, yes, same thing again. I mean, I don't get it. I don't know whether this is a sick game they play or whether it's a thing. I don't know. I mean, was I supposed to offer sexual favors or something? I don't know.
That's what Hassan had to do. I mean,
I mean, it just like, I can't, I'm not, but it was just, so I just learned you can't trust anyone in Hollywood. And, like when I have friends who just moved here from Australia and they're like, oh, and so-and-so so nice. And they love my script. And I'm like, just wait it's so that's kind of, those are my sort of go-to horror stories of meetings, and it
sounds like your next script, though. You know that, right?
It does sound like something to put in another script. It just, I just don't get it. I mean, you're wasting my time, you're wasting your time. Just don't get it. Just don't do it. Say no, we're not interested. Australians never mess with you. They will tell you they're not interested. And I hear New Yorkers are the same, but you can answer that, not me. And I don't mind that. It's direct. But so anyway, those are my horror stories.
Oh man, no, that definitely sounds. See, that's something I would watch. I love watching anything that satires Hollywood and kind of shows.
Well, I will. Yeah. Well, when we finish talking, I'll send you details of my movie, and you can watch it because it is totally. It's all about that. It makes fun of all of that. I think one critic described it as a delightfully spiteful love letter to Hollywood.
I love it.
Supposedly, the sexiest word in Hollywood is no, because no one knows how to say it.
Right.
So they don't say no, or they don't reject you outright. They just kind of try to wear you out by not accepting your work.
And with people like me, that doesn't work because unless you actually say to me, look, we hate you, go the hell away. It doesn't work. Not going
to go away.
But one of my friends who's an agent cracked me up. He's from the South, where again, they're a lot more honest. And he came to Hollywood and he had an internship with a big agency. And he's sitting in this agent's office and the agent is saying how much he hates this one particular script and blah. And while they were in there, the scriptwriter called in. And my friend just said, this guy went, oh, we love your script. It's fantastic. But you know what? We just can't do it right now. And he couldn't believe this. He was like, you've just been telling me how much you hated this guy's script. And suddenly it's like, the scriptwriter would have thought, oh man, this agent loves my script. So that's Hollywood for you.
They only love it when they can actually write a check to it. That's
right. Oh, yes.
When it comes down to it.
If there's money attached to it, for sure. But it's it's just But as as I said, that's just one of the mysteries of Hollywood. I don't know why they do that.
Well, we absolutely love you, so you're good.
Thank you so much.
And we mean it.
This has been fantastic. Yeah, no, because we really, forget about it. We would have just said, that's it. It's over. No, Chloe, tell everyone where they can watch Introducing Jodea. And
sure.
And give us where they can find you as well. Jodea,
sure.
Sorry.
Interesting Jodea is on all the main platforms, Amazon, iTunes. If you want to watch it for free, it's on Tubi TV. It's on YouTube, the paid YouTube channel. So it's you can find it anywhere online. I am Chloe Traicos. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Chloe Traicos. I'm also on Instagram, Chloe Traicos _official. Please watch the movie. It is a real feel-good movie. I don't know. It's a romantic comedy. I know some guys don't really like that, but it's I do know a lot of
my wife and I we got to do movies, so we got movie night together, so that's good.
Oh well, I will absolutely. Well, I think hopefully you'll like it.
I think I will let you know if I don't. I loved it. It just wasn't for me today.
I loved it. I just fell asleep after 10 minutes.
Well, real quick before you go, sometimes I'm a little too honest. I talked to one of my friends. So we're all comic book writers, and Hassan's a comic book artist, and one of my friends, comic book writer, and I was talking to him about his stuff. And man, I love your stuff, and I did. I actually legitimately, like, he puts out a number of different titles, and then he's like, "Yeah, what'd you think of that?" I'm like, I kind of lost interest in that. He goes, "That really hurts," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, sorry." So I didn't mean to be too honest. I was like, I lost interest by the third chapter. I was like, I didn't grab me.
The thing is, with being in this business, with being an actor or a writer, you are sensitive. You can't help it. That's who you are. And it does hurt. But you do actually, if your friends smart, he will go away and think about it. Because
Yeah.
I hate being criticized. I mean, we all do. But
Sure.
you go away and you think about it, and then you think, they're right. That is actually true. And then, I mean, you end up thanking them after. So it's it's just part of it. You have to be able. I mean, you have to be sensitive, but you also have to be able to take criticism. Otherwise,
Correct.
You're never going to move forward if you don't grow. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Really
Chloe
appreciate
Traicos. Check out Righteous Gemstones when season 3 hits. The comedy's great. The show is great. And I'm hoping for more beefed up quiet roles for you in the upcoming season. When we come back, more Rogue Wave podcast.
Want to thank our guest, Chloe Traicos from the Righteous Gemstones. Season 3 is filming now. Go check out season 1 and 2. I actually had to watch the show to catch up in order to make sure the interview was worthwhile. And I got to be honest, one of my favorite shows I've watched now this year, and I'm pretty into it. So I definitely think you should check that out. And her performance is excellent, and I love the fact that she gave us the insight in that interview that her role got completely rewritten by season 2, and now instead of just kind of because it's it seems very possible she was just one of many wives of Walton Goggins, but now she is. It seems like she's going to be a mainstay, and her character doesn't say anything, and I think that's just the I don't know. There's something beautiful in its simplicity in that. But and then she gave us Introducing Jodea on she gave us to watch, so we have to review that movie, Hassan. I promised her I would watch it. Have you watched it yet? Because I haven't yet.
No, I have not watched it.
All right, I promised her I would watch it, and we will watch it. Okay. And we'll get back to her on that as well too. Next week we've got a good buddy of mine, Dan Leister. He's got a new webcomic called Metal Ice Cream. It is totally rogue and totally awesome. It is starting back up again. He's going to come on to promote that, and we're just going to shoot the S a little bit because Dan's been a working comic book artist for many, many years. Done some work at DC. He was the hack slash artist for many, many years as well too with Tim Seeley. Done a lot of Zenoscope work. He's just awesome, and he's also the artist on The Sire, which was my flagship creator-owned book as well too. San Diego is next Thursday. I will be there. I'll be flying out of here Thursday to go check it out. I know preview night's Wednesday, but no way was I spending an extra $400 on a hotel for preview night. Just wasn't happening. This year. But I'll be there. So we're going to take a look at San Diego Comic-Con. And I don't know. What do you want to talk about next week, Hassan? What's the good word on your end there?
What do I want to talk about next week?
Want to talk about Miss Marvel's finale maybe next week? Do we want to do that?
We can talk about Miss Marvel. We could talk about The Boys.
Oh yeah, I want to talk to you about The Boys because I was a little.
Maybe that's just you, man. It's just you're just not feeling anything anymore.
No, I was feeling everything. I was feeling it all the way up until the very, very end.
I think it's you. I think it's a you problem.
I gotta tell you, I enjoyed it immensely, but ... And we'll figure out what that ... is next week. All right, guys.
They'll be waiting on pins and needles.
This has been, you know, next week's gonna happen. Something else is gonna come up. We're not even gonna talk about it. This has been the Rogue Wave podcast. We will see you guys next week.
Hi guys, Mike Dolce here from the Rogue Wave podcast. If you like this video, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It really helps us out. Leave a comment, let us know what you'd like to see in future episodes, and tune in every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern for a brand new episode of the Rogue Wave podcast.